So, we're supposed to talk on gazing. I think this will be the last class or whatever it is on gazing. I think we'll move on to something else. I think Gary and I think are gonna work on White Lotus. It's a book by Jamgon Mepom the Great on the 7-line prayer. Gives a whole commentary on the practice of the 7-line prayer. It's kind of brought upon by his student. His student has taken upon this as his main practice, and he just does it like 24/7 for a year or two. And he wanted Mepom to say something about it. And anyway, Mepom writes this thing. Kind of extolling it as the highest practice you could do. And Vajrayana Buddhism, or whatever, Shambhala Buddhism, whatever. Vajrayana Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism. It's very short, but it's not so short. And he just goes through all the meanings of each line. He kind of goes an outer and inner. And I don't know, the whole thing's about, maybe 120 pages, but the inner part is maybe, there's like a 38-page section on the inner meaning, and it's really, really powerful. But the whole thing's powerful, but the inner pithy part is unbelievable. And doing the practice is unbelievable. And gaining faith that whatever you pray for to Padmasambhava will happen. Padmasambhava will come and bless you and give you whatever you're asking for. Whatever you're praying about. So anyway, that's probably the next thing we're going to do. I don't know how that'll go. Might read some from the book, or I don't guess we're going to do the practice. Will you leave us alone for now? I'll get the rest of it. I'll do a video. Anyway, I think that's what we'll do next. I don't know if we'll have this alternate 2 different topics. We probably will. It's kind of a good, have another parallel topic. I don't think it'll keep being Alexander. I think. Will you stop, please? Thank you. Thank you. Shut the door, please. Okay. I could go on and on about Alexander. I just think it's maybe better. Nobody's exactly jumping into this, either one of these topics, but I can tell, I think they're both great topics, but I'm going to talk about, I kind of did a whole thing for Alexander last time. I kind of wrapped it up in a certain way. I think it's wrapped up nicely. I'm going to try to do the same with gazing today. We'll see if it works out or not. I had said the next topic on gazing was going to be on sex, which is Somehow we talk about gazing, it always comes back to sex at some point, and that's the really, well, the whole thing is probably controversial for some people, but the sex gets everybody going, There's some people that don't go off the edge because we're talking about gazing, which they think might be inappropriate discussion for students or any students, unless it's the guru talking to his students, I'm not saying it isn't, I'm not saying it is, I've made a lot, well, I'll make some more here, but I've talked about that topic. I've beat that one pretty good. I don't know if I have to hammer that one. But the sex, that's a whole nother ballgame. That gets everybody on edge, especially the women. Which is crazy. Man. It's like the women think that the men are oppressing them with these teachings, which is so far from what it's about. That is so far from what it's about. You couldn't be further from the truth. If you think this is about the men oppressing the women, you couldn't be further from the truth. If you dreamed it up, you couldn't get further from the truth. The truth is, it's about elevating women to their true power and empowering women. That's what it's about. That's what Karma Mudra is about. It's about men are dumbasses. With very few exceptions. Men are stupid. Men are supposed to represent skillful means, but that's just, yes, the man is supposed to become not stupid. How many actually do that in our culture? Maybe in another culture, in Japanese culture 800 years ago, I don't think the men were so stupid. In Tibetan culture, then and now, I don't think men are so stupid. In Western culture, everybody got stupid. Women are not stupid. They are oppressed by a male-dominated culture, but it has nothing to do with Karma Mudra teachings, let me tell you. Quite the opposite. The Karma Mudra teachings are put down so much to help in that process. If you let the Karma Mudra teachings out, you could not perpetuate that. You could not do it. It's impossible. Somehow the women got to get on board because they're the saviors. Somehow we got to entice the women to look into this. Men get smart and you can't enroll a woman, Men get smart and you can enroll a woman and get enlightened through her power. Men get smart and you can enroll a woman and get enlightened through her power. Men get smart because you can then enroll a woman and get enlightened quickly, easily through her power. That's what it is. Men get smart so you can enroll a woman and get enlightened quickly and easily through her power. Through her wisdom. Through her natural connection to wisdom. Women, you got it all. You got it all in your hands. All you got to do is not reject your power. That's all you got to do. Is just find a man who's you can whip into shape. Or, if you're lucky, you find a man who does have skillful means, who can awaken you like this. But even if you don't have that, you can do it yourself, a lot of it. You can do it yourself. You're completely control your own sexuality. You are completely in control of your own sexuality. You can find any kind of worthless bum of a man and make him into a hero. It's not difficult. Would not be difficult for you. Would not be difficult for you. And you don't even need one man. You could have 100 men. Whatever you want. It's all at your feet. It's all at your feet. It's all at your feet. But the women are not on board either. Too bad. Too bad. Too bad. So, gazing is not all about sex, but if you want the quick path to enlightenment, it's through gazing and sex. Bam, enlightenment. Gazing, dark retreat, enlightenment. Gazing, sex, dark retreat could just be for fun. Enlightenment. Add the dark retreat and you got it all. But even without the dark retreat, you got it. Things are not so screwed up in the East around sex, man. They're not. They are not. They are not. They are not so screwed up in the East around sex. They're just not. It's more the West when things just gotten so out of whack. It's unfortunate, but that's what we live in. There's a lot of other things about the West that aren't healthy either, but we got to overcome them. We got to overcome them all. Not necessarily by, attacking anybody, but just look for an authentic consort. Develop your skillful means if you're a man. If you're a woman, wisdom is right at your fingertips, You got the same problems as any other sentient being, but you're closer to wisdom than the men are. Get Barbara Kiesling's book, Super Sexual Orgasm. Teach yourself to have orgasms that you control. And having 4 in a row is like falling off a log for you. Find you a man or a woman or somebody. Better with a man in a way, but you can do it with a woman too. But then you probably want to find a man too. I don't know. Men are good for something. They're good for skillful means. They're good for taking a woman further and further and further and further and further because they got skillful means to do so. They're good for that. And when a man and a woman get enlightened together, I don't know. You can include another woman. You can include whatever you want. 2 women is... 2's better than 1, I'm sure. That's not what this is about, man. This is about 1 man, 1 woman. This is what this is about. If you want to change it up, that's good. But this is about 1 man and 1 woman. This is not about a man having a lot of women. That's not what this is about. There's nowhere that it talks like that's what this is about. If you're the king of China, if you're the emperor of China, you got a little different game plan laid out for you. I've talked about gazing ad nauseum. Gazing is really where it's at, but finding an authentic consort is really where it's at, and using the 4 joys, the 4 orgasms, the 4 abhishekas, the 4 empowerments to produce wisdom and greater skillful means is where it's at. I stand by that, you know. And why should you be out having sex and do it in a completely stupid and wasteful way and not leading to enlightenment? Why should you practice that? Why is that superior? Explain that to me. Where does it say in Buddhism that you're blocked from knowing things you ought to know from the 8th grade? If you grew up in Tibet, where does it say that? We are not blocked from this wisdom. We're going to have sex probably. We might as well use it for something useful. It's a powerful thing. It's got a lot of power to ruin our lives or to make our lives supremely great. Well, should we just use it to ruin our lives, or should we use it to make our lives supremely great? I don't know. You tell me. You tell me. Maybe I'm screwed up. I've made all my arguments before. Just listen to my other stuff. I could make a lot of arguments, some more, but can you become a sex addict messing with this stuff? Yes. Can you become an alcoholic messing with this stuff, and including alcohol? Yes. Or drug addict? Yes. Is there an increased danger of you becoming a sex addict by getting involved in this? Yes. Is there increased danger of you becoming a Buddha? Yes. Maybe that's not exactly a danger, but you're treading a dangerous territory. You're going out into the wilderness, man. You're going out. You're going out and seeking the dragon. You're going out and seeking the mysterious. You're in search of the miraculous, and you're going to think you're going nuts sometimes. And it's hard to handle, you know. It's hard to handle, but this is not an argument for staying home and never learning anything or doing anything or getting smart or getting wise, getting wisdom. Buddhism never says don't gain skillful means. It might scare the neighbors, or no, don't get wisdom. It might scare the children. Buddhism doesn't say that. It says alternate shamatha and vipassana. When you get too far out there with vipassana, come back to shamatha. Keep things balanced. Keep this middle way between alternating shamatha and vipassana. You go out there, gets a little freaky out there, you come back to shamatha. But that doesn't mean you don't ever go back to vipassana. You just waiting for the next turn of the dice. Well, that's all I gotta say. String me up if you want, but why not try it a little bit? If you're gonna have sex, why not try the principles of 4 orgasms, retaining your semen if you're the man. Wait until it's your turn. Gays, baby, gays. Gays and sex, for God's sakes. Gays. If you're not going to do anything else, at least gays and sex. At least gays and sex. I'm begging you. At least gays and sex. At least gays and sex, please.